Reptilians, welcome back to my channel. So this week on the vlog, someone asked me to do a daytime routine. Not too long ago I did my nightly routine, and so I thought I would do that this week. That was a really good suggestion. I don't have a lot of daytime animals. My only daytime animals are Morty, Zaz, and the betta fish, and everyone else is nocturnal or crepuscular, and so I don't really do much with them. So I just kind of showed what I do every day. Some of these things aren't exclusive to a daytime routine. Like, I am going to clean water bowls in this video, and that's not something that I only do during the day. It's just kind of something that I do whenever I notice it. But this is my daytime routine with my animals.
So as soon as I wake up in the mornings, the very first thing that I do is just go around and check on everyone. The crocodile skinks light does not automatically turn on, so I do go ahead and turn that on. But most of my animals' lights are on timers, so I just kind of go around and peek at everybody and make sure that everyone is doing okay. And it also kind of gives me an idea of what I have to do. So you see Morty clearly needs his water changed. He puts mud in it every single night. He's supposed to be sleeping at night, and he instead digs into his water bowl. Winter's tank definitely needs to be cleaned. There's calcium everywhere because he likes to destroy things just like the other ones. And Dexter's tank is looking pretty okay. Some of his plants aren't doing great, but that's kind of to be expected because I'm terrible at plants, and his glass needs to be cleaned. Percy's tank looks good. She made a little bit of a mess in the night, but otherwise she's fine. She's hiding in her cork bark, but everything looks good there. She still has water from last night. Sylvanus is looking wonderful. She has a little bit of urate in there, needs some water. Sterling also has a little bit of urate, and he has dumped his water bowl and got dirt in it, so that needs to be changed. Goliath's tank is looking pretty good. He has some urates on his wood, but his tank is bioactive, so any poop doesn't need to be cleaned up that's on the ground, and everything is looking good in his tank. I am very happy with the growth that's happening in his tank. You can see that his plants are growing wonderfully. His vine has died multiple times, but it keeps coming back, so that's always good. Sorry about all the reflection. And then we have Theon the Pac-Man frog, who is buried away like usual and surrounded by calcium powder because it was his feeding night last night. Then we turn on my fish tank lights. Ignore all the algae. You guys know I always have an algae problem in this tank. I'm assuming it's because of the door. I don't know. And Wade, the corn snake, is doing good. He's always just peeking out of that hide. He loves that hide so much, guys. I'm so happy that he uses it. That is his go-to spot now. He hardly even burrows anymore because he just loves that hide so much. And as for water, his water is good. We got him water last night. We don't fill up his water bowl because when he was burrowing, he would knock it over every single time. So we just put half in there to prevent mold and things like that. But everything is looking good on his end as well. So then I just let my dogs out, and yeah. Zaz was sleeping. She does not like when I turn her light on. You can see her old salad in there from yesterday, so we're gonna have to get her more of that. The betta fish is also still sleeping at this point. He likes to just kind of lay in that top corner. You can see that there's some algae on his tank, and we need to get that off. But yeah, that's just my morning when I first wake up routine, guys. That's what I do when I very first wake up, along with taking care of my children. So let's get cleaning. And of course, before I could even start cleaning her tank, she started pacing, which tells me that she needed to use the bathroom. So I put her in the sink to give her a bath. Anytime that she acts like she needs to go to the bathroom, I always try to put her in the sink because she doesn't like going to the bathroom in her tank. It makes her panic, and she'll start running through it and leaping on everything. So if I just put her in the sink and give her a bath and she just goes to the bathroom in there, then she is super happy and she will just get back on her basking spot and fast. And now to clean Zaz's tank out. In order to do this, I obviously am not going to leave her in there, so I am taking her old salad bowl out so I can go ahead and do her salad. And then I actually take her out, and my husband will sit on the couch with her while she just kind of soaks up some sun coming through the window, and that makes her super happy. And then I am free to clean her tank out without bothering her. And I'm just going to be doing a very basic clean on her tank. I'm just vacuuming everything out because her tank really isn't that dirty. It just kind of has lint and stuff in it. So I'm just vacuuming everything out, and I'm going to clean that glass because it is covered in children's fingerprints. And that's basically it for her tank this time. And I just put her back in there. She was not happy to leave that window, but she'll be okay. And then I am going to prepare the collard greens for Zaz and some for Morty. Sorry if my stove looks dirty. It's 1,000 years old. Like, all that's on there is just burnt on there. I'm not even the first owner of this, so sorry. But these are collard greens. These are Zaz's absolute favorite greens. Normally, I pre-cut all of this up and put it in a giant Ziploc bag, but I just got this and I haven't had a chance to do that yet. Stop! For some reason, my husband absolutely hates when I use knives because he thinks I'm going to lose a finger, but I have not done that yet, so... Anyway, I cut these up into bite-sized pieces for Zaz, and then for Morty, I'm going to take this and chop it up really, really small. Morty hates his vegetables, and it is almost impossible to get him to eat it, so the only way that I have found is to chop it up really, really small and mix it in with the cat food that I give him, and even then, he will pick around the cat food or Repashy or whatever it is that I'm giving him at the time. He will pick around the greens to get to that. So this is the only way that I've found so far to get him to eat some of his vegetables. And I'm also putting some Herptivite reptile vitamins in this mixture too. I found that it's super easy with these vitamins if you just poke holes in the lid instead of taking that whole lid off, and then you can use it as kind of a shaker, or else I just dump the whole thing, and this just works better. I feel like we're all over the place here, but now it's back to Zaz. So while I was doing the cat food, I was letting this frozen butternut squash defrost in some warm water. And I'm also going to put some cilantro in her salad. Bearded Dragon shouldn't be fed cilantro daily, but they can have it occasionally as a treat, and she absolutely loves it. She was honestly scared of it the first time that I ever put it in there. Anything that has too strong of a smell, Zaz will panic, and she will leap off of her basking spot and go and hide in her house like it scares her. This was a panic moment for her at first, and once she finally tried it, she really liked it, so I like to give her this occasionally. And then I'm just going to cut up this butternut squash into bite-sized pieces as well. This is a pretty big salad that I'm making for her, but lately Zaz has been kind of weird when it comes to bugs. She really just wants to eat salad most of the time. She only eats bugs a few days a week, so I like to give her a really big salad just to make sure that she is getting a good amount of food. And I'm also just going to spray that salad down with already ReptiSafe treated water just to give her some extra liquids. And I'm just going to sprinkle some Herptivite on top. And this is her finished salad. And most of the time Zaz is too lazy to get down there to her salad bowl herself, so I've stopped even waiting. I always just put her down there in front of her salad bowl when I put it there. And of course I forgot to show me actually putting the food into Morty's tank, but I came back and he had already knocked his bowl over and eaten what looks like only the middle of the food that I gave him. You can kind of see what I was talking about where he will pick around the greens. But it is now time for me to change his water. I took it to the sink and washed it out really good and filled it up with fresh water, and I am going to go ahead and put some ReptiSafe in that as well. And then Morty finally came out looking all weird. He is so beautiful. I am so in love with his coloring. He is just... wow, I just love him so much. Anyways, on to cleaning the betta fish tank. You can see that there's algae building up, and I had a whole bunch of, I think they were anacarus plants in the back, and they melted, but I'm not going to pull them out because I read somewhere that they sometimes melt if they're grown out of the water as opposed to in the water, and that they sometimes come back. I don't know. I am no expert at all when it comes to aquariums. I'm actually really bad at keeping plants alive. So if you have any input on that, let me know in the comments below. But we're going to just clean this tank out, clean the algae off the glass, and kind of replant some of the plants that have come loose. And this isn't really part of my daily routine. I clean this tank out about once a week, but I do it in the daytime and it was time for it to be done, so I thought I would go ahead and do it and record it for this video as well. And then I have my bucket of water here that I use the temperature gun on to try to get it close to the same temperature that is currently in the tank so I don't put him into shock, and I treat it with this stress coat / dechlorinator to make it fishy safe, and I fill it all back up. And I just wipe off the glass to try to get some of those water spots off. It looks very foggy, but it will clear up. This is just what happens when you clean out a fish tank. And I have an Indian almond leaf here that I have already boiled, and I just cut it up because it's huge and I put it in the tank. This makes him feel better. It instantly calms him down, and I just change this out every time I change out the water. Usually boiling these makes them sink, and I don't think I boiled it long enough this time, so they're just floating right back up to the top, but that's okay. They will sink eventually. And not even 10 minutes later, you can see how much this tank has cleared up. And there's Handsome Jack looking all handsome. You can see the black stripes on his tail that he now has, but he is the absolute cutest and he has the biggest personality. We're going to go ahead and feed him. I am feeding him these omega-1 frozen bloodworms. I have tried just normal freeze-dried bloodworms and he will not eat them. He instantly spits them out. And the betta pellets, they are actually still too big for him and he will sit there and try to choke it down, so I don't give him those yet. And I actually take these cubes and I cut them into fourths so that I'm not wasting a whole bunch of bloodworms every time, and I just dump whatever is left over from these into my big fish tank because I'm only going to give him about 5 of these bloodworms. And then this morning we saw that the snakes need water too, so I will go ahead and clean their bowls out. And now both of those are done, and I already put ReptiSafe in them, of course. She came out to see what was going on because she doesn't like hands in her tank. But those are done, and getting the animals fresh water isn't really part of my daily or nightly routine. I just kind of do it whenever I notice that they need water, so I just decided to put that in here too. And then for the Pac-Man Frogs tank, we have to do this above angle because there's so much glare on this glass. But he just needs to be sprayed down and his water bowl needs to be changed. If you can see, he's surrounded by calcium powder because he was fed last night. And his water bowl is half empty and filled with dirt because he spent a lot of his time yesterday in that bowl. So let's do that. And it is clean. Then we will just add some ReptiSafe. So you couldn't see because my hand was in the way. And that is it for him. He is another nighttime animal, so he gets soaked and fed at night. And Winter's tank still needs to be wiped down because you see there's calcium everywhere and there is a rogue roach in there. It still needs to be wiped down, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't know where he is, but I know that he is sleeping somewhere, so I don't want to disturb him, so that'll probably happen tonight.
And that's it. I didn't show me holding or interacting with the animals. I just realized that right now, but I just completely spaced that. So here we go. Here is a Morty. He is covered in dirt. He always has this like fine layer of dirt on his whole body. He has gotten so big. Like, look at that. He's gotten so big. He's still absolutely beautiful in color. But look at that. That is crazy. But other than that, that's my daily routine. I get asked how I like organize things, and I really don't. If I'm going out of town and like my mom is coming to take care of the animals, I will write down feeding schedules on a calendar. But other than that, I don't really have a written out system. I just kind of do things throughout the day and night, and that just kind of works for me. I'm just not a very organized person. Also, I just want to let you guys know that I will most likely be at the Exotic Animal Expo in Cullman, Alabama this weekend, Saturday. One of you guys actually sent me a message on Instagram asking me if I was going to be there, and I didn't even know it existed at all. So I will probably be there. It is supposed to be the largest reptile expo in Alabama. So I'm pretty excited about that. As always, if you're not already, please feel free to follow me on my other socials and like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications every single time I put out a new video, which is every Sunday and Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.